Hello, everyone. We're together in the same shot today. JereLyn is hanging out with me at my house today, and tomorrow I'm going out of town, and she's going to watch Erica for me. It is really exciting. But anyways, that's another story. We're here to talk about beauty with boundaries. And for those of you who have seen the one that we recorded a couple of hours ago, the energy in this place was really chaotic. And JereLyn and I talked about it, and we were like, you know what, since we're still up, might as well go ahead and redo it. So that's what we're going to do right now. Talk about beauty and relations to boundaries. Because it definitely was chaotic.
Let's just say there were no boundaries.
Yeah, on many ends. Me, in particular, dogs. It's just all over the place. So yeah, beauty. I like the idea of us, when you brought it up last week, to come up with the idea for having a talk on beauty, because it's just something that I've noticed can be a touchy-feely topic. I remember in school, one of my teachers, and this is, when I think of beauty, I actually think of this topic that came up, was we watched a video about media in relation to how it manipulates beauty, the idea of beauty, and how really messed up it is.
You're telling me.
You know, like, we're supposed to be this big, and nothing bigger.
And that tall.
And uber tall, and we have to, big boobs, big butt, but not too big. And we have to have flat stomachs and abs and, like,
Just the right skin color, like not too pale, that golden tan, beachy, the beach body, the beach bikini girl, the bikini girl.
And it was interesting because it came from, I'm an anthropology major, just in case you guys didn't know. It's from an anthropological perspective of how, in incorporating what actual real beauty, like what a real woman looks like versus what a woman doesn't look like. Because even, I actually was watching an Ellen DeGeneres clip, of all people. It was like Mimi Rogers. She's like 50 years old. She actually did a photo shoot for a major magazine, and she was naked, and she did not want to be photoshopped. Yeah. She said, do not Photoshop me, do not change me, do not do any of that. And sure enough, she was still, and they showed the before and after. There really wasn't much of a difference. Like, all they did was even her skin tone. So it was more even. But even then, they still, like, she was like, listen, don't Photoshop me. Bitches, please don't Photoshop me. They still Photoshopped her. And she was like, you know what, that was the closest thing I could get to authentic. And I thought that was very interesting, you know, and like how Photoshop in particular has created, you can take a woman and turn her into something that's impossible to exist. You know, even Barbie, like Barbie when we were age, she's considered fat or like unbeautiful now. Because it's just this like weird thing that people have, you know. So it was interesting. It was very interesting to see what it looks like in the eyes of the public eye, like the media eye, the popular eye, the what does it look like to society today. And another thing I saw recently on Facebook, because we Facebook stalk, was masterpieces, paintings from the masters during the Enlightenment age. Renaissance. The Renaissance, yes.
Amazing.
Those women, if they were portrayed as women today,
They'd be ugly if they were portrayed today.
But it was like a original versus a skinny one, and it like went back and forth between the two.
Yeah.
And it was incredible.
I saw it's not a movie, but a remake of a Renaissance painting, and the original, the woman in there, she was more crudely drawn. Her features were homely, and then the updated version, she was gorgeous, like drop dead. And I'm guessing the first one was a real model, and the second one was a real model from our kind of model perspective. And so it's just amazing how they influence us to such a degree that we even don't see classic art as beautiful as it was or should have been, because most artists weren't recognized in that time.
Mm-hmm. But just something as simple as that, and one of the and this is where it really hurts, like me right here in my heart space, is I have a good friend from high school, very gorgeous woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's taller. She's like right under 6 feet. Beautiful, beautiful brown hair and just gorgeous. Now she had a more of an, I want to say athletic. I mean, she was skinnier built, but she had muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the past couple of years, she moved up to go to college out of state, north of Georgia, and I don't know what happened, but it was just astonishing to see her drop weight, and eat nothing, and actually be excited and proud of it, and really, like, in my eyes, with my knowledge of addiction and especially with eating disorders, she was flaunting her eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just showing the world, I eat 80 calories a meal or whatever it was. I don't even remember exactly, but it was like something like that. Barely eating, working out all the time, and she took this one, and it was recent too. She took a picture, and on the side of her mirror were pictures of models from magazines,
Mm-hmm.
which wouldn't scare me as bad as it's nerve-wracking, because like they're photoshopped, they're airbrushed.
Yeah, those women aren't real.
They're not real.
And they're starved.
Mm-hmm.
I was told the other day that models are the reason why they eat as little as they do is because they're so poor. They aren't fed properly. They're living in Manhattan flats that are costing so much money, and there's like 9 or 10 of them all piled in there. And they don't have enough money to eat. And they have to be skinnier than the next person to compete. That's their field.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad.
And so, like, just the whole entire idea from like a societal perspective, and seeing her mirror remind me of your mirror. How it's like a complete opposite of like, okay, let's not be in that vibration today. Let's be in a vibration of having affirmations. You know.
But that is her affirmation.
It is, and that's her reality too.
Right. I mean, you can see it. You saw the power of her affirmation. She is that skinny now. She eats 80-calorie meals and works out like a complete nutcase. And she's going to probably drop dead from a heart attack. Her body can't handle that stress. No, it's not built to. It's not meant to, especially when she's a, tall, naturally athletic built. It's not built for that. And but that shows you how powerful vision boards are, because that's what I have. I have a vision board of my mirror. So if I stood straight in front of my mirror, it has like a little, all around where my head would be, just pictures of what my affirmations are. And so she has that little strip. It's the same thing. She looks at that every day to remind herself that's her goal. And that's what she's focusing on, and that's what she's bringing into her reality, and that's her version of beauty.
Yeah, and that just reminds me how powerful the whole entire, going back to Pam, for us, Pam Grau, E squared, 9 simple experiments to prove to you that your thoughts create your reality. Our thoughts create our reality. Law of attraction, all of that, just the whole entire
thoughts and good thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
It's all attractable.
Yeah, and so with even, it's funny that you mentioned boundaries right before we started this. Like, boundary-wise, you know, whoever's listening, and even for us, it's like, okay, well, where are my thoughts today? Are my thoughts in a field of positivity or negativity? Like, where am I today?
Mm-hmm. And we have to check in with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We do, because we have 60,000 thoughts a day. And the best way to check in with our thoughts has been to actually just check in with our feelings. If we don't feel right, if we feel off, then that means that our thoughts are negative, and we are giving ourselves negative self-talk whether we realize it or not, or we're receiving it from other people and we're picking up on the negative energies of others. And so that's when we need to enforce our boundaries. And like when we were walking, we went out today, just girls, we went out, and I reminded Lindsay to do her boundary meditation because she wasn't feeling well in the store. So what did you do?
It is the Russian doll effect. Well, that's what we call it. Normally what I do is I think about I am the smallest doll in a Russian doll, and then I have I jump into another one, and then this one jumps into another one, and I keep going, and then once I feel that oomph, I'm better. Well, today you suggested to do it in white light, and I've never been the biggest bubble fan. Just think of yourself in a white bubble. Never been the biggest fan of it, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it. It was cool because we were walking through the store, and I picked a spot across the store, and I stared at it. And I was like, you know what, JereLyn, we'll make sure I don't run into anything with the cart. So I'm staring at it, and I'm really good at doing visualizations with my eyes open. Ever since taking Crystal's class, it's just been really do it now. And every time I went into another layer, I could actually feel the tingling going down, and then I could feel that little shift. It's like it's an energetic shift of like, okay, I'm there. And I still leaned into Erica. I was like, but still, Mommy doesn't really want to be around these people. It's just one of those stores where it's like you've got so many energies and so many people. It's just like I even looked. She's off looking at everything, and I'm like, I gotta get this, and I want to get up too. I do not want to be in there anymore. But I was better at the next door. Yeah. But it's just one of those, for me in particular, especially the store that we were in. I'm just not a big fan of being there, and but I needed to get a couple of items on a budget. Yay, being a mommy on a budget. So we went.
Yeah, we're crafty people. We go to dollar stores and Five and Belows and the big bad wolves and that are the conglomerates, because we do need to save money, and we do need to get crafty about what we do, like, you know, printing out our pictures at work and laminating our cards at work and bringing them home, and like all my photos that I have for my affirmations are taped up with medical tape from one job and or printed on paper from another job. You know, it's just I don't have those resources at home, and if I had to buy them, that would, yeah. But today I did buy sparkly tape at one of our below stores, and it was $2, but it'll make my mirror vision board prettier. And for me, aesthetics help tie you in. So I like tying the physical with the spiritual so that it gives you that visualization of something tangible. So having sparkly borders helps with that. Why are we waving? Hello, girls.
Hello. I think it's Corn. Hello.
Hi.
We're glad you joined us tonight.
Yes. Didn't think anybody would at 1:09 in the morning. But hi.
Wait, she might be on the West Coast.
That's true. She could be on the West Coast. Here, it is 1:09 in the morning. So
we're in the East Coast in the United States, just so you know. Yeah, but we're happy you joined us. Hello. We're glad you joined us. Sorry, I was just like, yeah, I just pulled up the Q&A and I was like, hi. We're glad you're here watching with us. But yeah. No, where were we? Boundaries.
Boundaries, yeah. So
Sparkly. We were talking about sparkly too.
I was, because I was talking about aesthetics and tying in spiritual with the physical, like using our wands. You do not ever need a tool. I will be the first one to tell you that, because as a woman on a budget and as a teenager on a budget and somebody who, felt like they had to hide their faith, you use your mind. You use your fingers as an atme and as a wand. And, yes, you long for those things because it helps you focus. And that's all it's for, is for intention. And, for us now who have clients, it's also for them. It helps them, like tarot cards and oracle cards. We can get intuitive hits without them. Mm-hmm. It's for the client to be able to visualize and pull the message themselves, because really that's what cards do. We're the card readers, but the message is for our clients. So for me, beautiful things just help pull it in. Like this wand is aesthetically pleasing to me. I think it's gorgeous. All my pictures that I have for my affirmations are all gorgeous because I made them that way. They're aesthetically pleasing to me. Doesn't mean that they'll appeal to everybody, but I like them. So,
oh, thank you.
Yes, we're getting a note that we're very beautiful. Thank you. You're very beautiful too. And that's part of beauty too, is it's not all on the physical. Is if you shine in your truth, you can shine beauty, regardless of what you look like, what you sound like. If you speak in a different language, you can walk into a room and light it up, and nobody has to understand what you're saying. We communicate on a soul level, on a cellular level, on, whatever level that we need to communicate on a telepathic level. Like, we don't have to necessarily talk to each other to be able to communicate and to appreciate each other. And that's also part of beauty, is just appreciating that connection with others, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, we had somebody in the Q&A say, you are very beautiful. And, one of the things that I have found, I'm really horrible with names, people's names. And a good friend of mine years ago said, just say sweetie pie or cutie or honey, or, give everybody cute little pet names. And you know what? Even if I remember your name, I still do it.
Yeah.
And I like it, because I like it when people are like, hey, beautiful, what's up? Or, hey, pretty lady. Or one of my personal favorites is, I miss your beautiful face. When do I get to see it again? I just love that. I just love doing little things like that. I actually caught a coworker off guard this weekend. It was a male coworker.
You called him beautiful?
No, I called him gorgeous. Oh my gosh. It was the greatest reaction I have ever seen in my life. Was he
straight? Can I ask that?
Yes, he is very straight.
And you called him gorgeous?
I did. I said, hey, gorgeous, how you doing? And I did it just like that, like the Joey from Friends. How you doing?
How you doing?
Hey, gorgeous, how you doing? And he looked at me. He just came on his shift. And he was just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with you. Should I punch you or something? I feel like I should punch you. And I was like, no. Take it as an endearing comment. So I say that to everybody. Ask anybody here. Like, there's one guy there, and I swear to gorgeous man. Like, aesthetically pleasing. You know how we were talking at the beginning of the show about, like, model pleasing? Yeah, it's one of those. But he's like 18, you guys. Come on. No interest. Just a pretty guy. He's got that brown hair, blue eyes. I'm trying to give you, like, a visual.
That's very rare.
See, for me, I find that to be a very pretty, natural, pretty thing that is rare. Like you said, it's a rare thing to see or to find. He's got that beach tan. Well, a little jealous, not gonna lie. But I call him Cutie Pie. Hey, Cutie Pie, what's up? Cutie Pie, what's up? And it's just one of those things. Everybody's like, very caught off guard when I'm like, hey, honey, how you doing? And part of it is, yes, I'm horrible with names. I have horrible memory, and I can never remember anything. However, it's just also, as time has gone on since doing that as a suggestion, it's actually turned into a, because the guy that I said gorgeous to asked me, why do you say that? And I said, well, I'm bad with memory, but I feel like part of my life purpose is to bring a smile to at least one person every day. And to bring light into the world and get people to smile and feel a little bit better about themselves at the end of the day. Even if I don't do it every day, that's fine.
You tried.
I tried. And I do it by saying sweetie and honey pie. But then again,
Southern way.
Yeah, but then again, we are in Georgia, so yes. That is such a Southern thing to do. So, but yeah, it's something so small and so simple.
But it's the simple things. It's the small things that are really the big things, and really the big events and the small events, they all equalize out in the end. And how hard is it to be nice to somebody throughout your day? And granted, there are people that will tick you off and get under your skin and just mean and ugly, but reacting badly back has never helped. I don't know about you, but it's never helped me.
No.
It never helps the situation. It just gets more confrontational. Me personally, I despise confrontation and I really suck at it. So just trying to be sweet back, and it's hard, and I am Irish and Italian, and the tempers will fly, especially the closer they are to you, because the more they know how to push your buttons and how to get under your skin and how to get right into your little bubble and be like, right there under you. And so it's hard sometimes, and a lot of times it's a lot easier to do it with a stranger. But the more you push that out into the world of, hi sweetie pie, hi honey dear, it becomes easier, and it becomes part of your disposition for the day. So when you do get to that confrontational person who does happen into your life that day, you can handle it better. If you stay in that higher vibration of, creating that beauty and holding that space for beauty, then you can just ride out the other stuff a lot easier, and it makes things a lot easier and flow a lot easier for you. And part of strength is being able to bounce back during adversity, and we create adversity for each other as humans, and we're in relationships that have ups and downs, and they always will. That's part of life. But we need to create as much beauty in this world as we can and bring it back to us as much as we can, and however we can for us, because I don't find the same things beautiful as everybody else. Some people are attracted to different, like attracts like, and some like the total opposite, for relationships. Some people like this color and other people like that color. Different topics, different books. That's why we have so many different people in the world, because there's so many different things to love about this place. And there's so many different ways to connect with people, and if you can find one thing to connect with somebody, do it. Like we have kids. We have a ton of things in common, but one of them is we're the same age, and we have kids together. And that's a huge connection, right? People work at grocery stores or in healthcare, and one of the things that we have to do is find a connection with that person that we're only with for 10 minutes or half an hour during an exam or whatever, to make them feel more welcome and feel more comfortable, because that's part of our job, to be honest. We're customer service based, whether that's our business or not. Every business is customer service, especially nowadays. And so the more you look for connections with people, the more you're going to find them. It's a lot harder to find nothing in common with somebody, because we're all human. We're all spirits living a human experience. You're breathing. That's one thing. There you go. I'm breathing today. You're breathing today. We're in the same place at the same time. Something. There's always something.
Yeah, and as you were talking, one of the things I've learned is to respond to life, not react to life. Two very different things. And I'll explain why. Reacting is So, yeah, it's the grr. It's the, you said something mean to me, and I'm just going to say whatever comes out of my head, out of my mouth, directed at you, towards you, and make your life miserable. You did something that I didn't like. The responding to life, I have that pause. It's like this nice little subtle pause. You better be careful with what you say and how you present it. Because like for me, I think the easiest mix-up is through text messaging.
Oh my God. There's a meme going on right now just about that, about how text messaging is the easiest way to miscommunicate your feelings and not get your point across. And I was in a relationship with somebody where that was constantly the case. And even like talking to somebody, talking to them in person and talking to them over text, a lot of times they don't correlate. They don't. It's like you're talking to two different people, and it's really hard to mesh the two together. And then you're like, oh. And a lot of the times you just totally like miss what they were trying to say. It's just, it's off. Just. So I had one person say to me, text messaging is for, hey honey, can you grab some milk on the way home? It is not for having a deep conversation. It is not for working out issues. It is not for anything besides grab me some Oreo cookies because I'm craving them. And we'll talk when you get home. And we'll talk when we have time and over lunch or whenever I see you next, if it's, I mean, you can't live with that person. Whenever, you know. But that face-to-face, even video chatting is better. You get to see. That's one of the good things I like about sign language is that they do video chatting. So you can see what they're saying and you can see what they're saying. They use a lot of non-manual gestures as literally it's built into their language base. I can say something with my hands using signs and my face portrays if it's a positive sentence or a negative sentence. So if I'm saying I went to the store or I'm saying I didn't go to the store, it's the same sentence structure with my hands, but my face says whether I did or didn't go. And we do that in English all the time. It's called sarcasm. And, all those inflections that we put in, they don't happen over email. They don't happen over text. And it's just a mess if you try and communicate that way in any way other than I want cookies and milk and you better fucking bring them home.
It's funny that you mentioned that because our entire conversation, like a good chunk of our communication is actually over Facebook Messenger.
It is. But we do hear each other a lot better than most.
And we do talk on the phone actually quite often. I bug you a lot.
You invite yourself into my life a lot.
Yes, I do.
Positive spin. I actually have people who literally all they do is poke me on Facebook. Like
poking wars.
Yes, I have those. I have I have a running tally, I think, of 21 right now with Xanda, actually. By the way, I don't think we've ever really said 2 words to each other, but poke.
That's awesome. Yeah. But, yeah, totally off topic. It's worse when we're sitting next to each other than if we were back and forth.
What, tangents?
Yes.
Okay, well.
Because just in case if this is the first time you're watching our video, we normally are back and forth because she lives across Atlanta than I do, and so we're normally back and forth. It's worse because we're actually sitting next to each other, and
I'm normally muted while she's talking, and she's muted while I'm talking. And she gets up and make a cup of tea and whatever, and we can just, and we'll have this run-on paragraph, and then I'll go, and back to you, Lindsay, like a news anchor. So, and back to you, Lindsay. What beauty topic would you like to talk about today?
Yeah.
Would you like to bring up what makeup or clothing or body sizes? What do you want to talk about?
Well, first I want to say thank you for continuing to comment, Corinne. If you want to post some or what direction you want us to go in, feel free. We're actually getting a delay. I think it's about 30 seconds to a minute delay. So whatever you type, just realize we do see it. It's coming through. It's just going to it's going to take a little while. But I think I really want to talk about body sizes and just briefly, just to pay homage to one of my favorite idols. Well, kind of idols.
Equal idols.
And it's funny, Marilyn Monroe. Let's talk about her for a moment.
Love her.
I will never forget walking into Crystal Starshine's office and seeing a picture of Marilyn Monroe with a quote on her wall in her office, and I nearly died. But Marilyn Monroe was a size 12, ladies. She had curves.
Voluptuous.
Yes, gorgeous woman, and was not skinny and all of that. Absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, and that's not accepted nowadays. Oh, you're no problem. If you write in French, Corinne, just want to let you know I know un peu French. So if you actually do write to us in French, I might be able to translate it into English. So just letting you know. So I've got this much knowledge, but it might be enough if you throw in some French words in there. Trust me. So yeah, Marilyn Monroe. She's not skinny. She's gorgeous. And body sizes are so funny because a size 12 today is actually a size 6. Or size 12 then is actually like a size 6 now.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're saying as a society we're getting more obese.
Well, now we have like sizes that are really, really large too.
So there was more of a narrower range? Is that what was going on?
Well, like 12 is now 6. There was more of a range for the
more people were in that range. And now we have this wider
range.
Double zero
also, and also they focus so much on the double zero and 0 and 2 and 4 and 6. They focus on the smaller sizes because for women in particular, like we're talking as a whole, I'm not a size 6 at all, and I don't know what size I'm not small. I don't really care. I do, but I don't care. My husband thinks I'm gorgeous and sexy, so it just doesn't matter for me. You know, somebody found me attractive enough to marry me, so why should I really pay that close attention to what size am I in particular? I just want to wear cute clothes. That's really my main goal in life. I want to wear cute clothes and comfy clothes, like t-shirts. I love my t-shirts. I just like t-shirts to fit, and that's pretty much, like, that's where I go. I don't really focus on what size am I. But so many women do, so they've altered the actual sizes for women to make them feel better. Because if you buy a size 6 today, it's actually back when Marilyn was around, was a size 12. So the mentality, or this is what I've heard, so don't you guys go all super crazy in our comments and be all about it. But this is what I've heard to make society feel a little bit better, instead of saying, oh, I'm a size 12, because that means you're plus size.
No, but it wasn't considered plus size then. She wasn't a plus size model.
No. That's another thing, too. We were walking through the mall here in Atlanta, and we saw a plus size model, and she looked like an average woman. Like, literally, I looked around at the women around us. She looked average. Quote-unquote average.
She wasn't, to us, a plus size looking model. And now they have plus size mannequins. They just look like, they don't look like, they just look like they're not mannequins anymore. They just look like they're representing an average person. It's weird and crazy how distorted we are that we're calling the average American woman a plus size mannequin or model.
And it brings me to the other point of because I, as a cashier, I see people, like I see them. I come to a point now, I don't even really look at the tabloids. I love my magazines, don't get me wrong, but I like Real Simple or the Food Network magazine. I like the women's world because Doreen Virtue has a column in it, and it's $1.79 a pop. Great magazine. Actually, they've got some really good like affirmations. It's uplifting. It's not about like they always have like lose body fat on the front cover, but it's to sell magazines. But if you actually read inside of it, it's got good stuff besides lose 10 pounds in a week or whatever, you know. But like it's just amazing how much is so focused on magazines and celebrities, and like that's such a small part of the population. It's for me, I actually had to stop looking down in a book and look around. You know, what do you actually see? What do you actually see, Lindsay? What's actually going on? And the best place I've noticed that I've been able to see it is at my college campus. It's so easy just to sit down outside, watch what's going on around me, see what's going on, and actually see what the average person really looks like. You know? And beauty's not just for women, too. It's men, too. Men have this, like, I'm just listening to various guy friends, and they don't really talk about how big their junk is so much, but it's just amazing to hear about this workout, that workout, protein shakes, and
oh my God,
building abs, and muscle tone, and oh, my hair's got to be a certain way, or I got to dress like this, and cardigans. I have one friend who's a little obsessed with this, like 2 cardigans. He's from New York. He's a little strange, oddball, but like
cardigan, the sweater, or really?
Yep.
I don't know if you wear those.
Yeah, he actually wears them on campus. Yeah, he's got 2 of them. One of them's white, one of them's like navy blue. He's very proud of them too. It's bizarre. Yeah, real bizarre. But like in like you were just talking about earlier, everybody's different. Everybody's unique. Everybody's got their own thing going on, you know. But for me, to tie in beauty with boundaries, which I love the alliteration too, by the way, is where am I going to draw my line? You know, like, for example, my husband says, "Oh, you're so beautiful, you don't need to wear makeup." He says that a lot. He's like, "Why are you wearing makeup, babe?" And I'm like, "Because I felt like wearing makeup today." Now, topic of makeup. For me, if I'm wearing makeup to hide behind it, then it's not a good idea. And I did that in middle school and high school. I definitely did that. Today, makeup is like part of a process of getting ready for the day. You know, it's not a mindset. It's a mindset. It's not something that I have to do, and I don't do it all the time. Actually, I recently went like 3 or 4 days without putting on makeup. And I was perfectly fine with it. Like, I even went to work without wearing makeup. So I honestly don't need it. It's not a necessity. When I do need it, and I do need that process of putting on, putting on my face, is I'm not, and I have to remember, I'm not putting on a mask. I'm just putting on a face. I want to enhance the fact that I have hazel green eyes, and I want to cover up a couple of big blemishes that are on my face, and I want to even out my skin tone. And my favorite new thing to do is to play around with eyeshadow.
Eyeshadow's fun.
You know, I have finally found like 3 or 4 different combinations that I really, truly enjoy, and I stick with it, and it's absolutely phenomenal, and really, really enjoy it. You know, just putting on different combinations of makeup. You know, at the Way Conspired Expo, I put on green. That was lovely. But it matched. It matched what I was wearing. You know, and then I've got this like Egyptian, I call it the Egyptian goddess gold.
They were fond of gold, yes.
Yeah, because it's but as I'm doing it, it's not like I have to do this. It's like, okay, what am I wearing? And the Egyptian goddess eyeshadow combination can go on with any outfit because it's just a bunch of different, it's like a brown, pale, goldish thing that goes with everything. So it's more about where am I at? Because sometimes I'll wake up depressed. That's really what happens. I'll wake up in a funk, or I'll wake up a little, and I need to do that process to get that meditation going, that mentality going of like, hey, I really need to get my face going, or really need to get going for my day. So I go ahead and put on the makeup. Usually shower, then makeup.
Well, I hope you do it the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, I don't know if it was my mom who originally said it, probably not, because everything we say we pass on, but something that we say in my family, could even be from my dad's side of the family, who knows, but one thing that we always say is, when you feel your worst, look your best. So when I used to have a lot of medical problems where I would feel really badly during high school, and one of the things to get you through the day was to look as put together and as beautiful and as polished as possible when you were feeling the worst, because you knew that's what you were projecting. You were projecting this beautiful, polished person, and that you looked gorgeous. And that gets you in the mindset of feeling gorgeous and of feeling put together and of feeling polished. And it's able to push you into that mindset, of just like when you smile when you don't really feel like smiling. It gives you that fake out, and you're able to get yourself to that moment where you do feel like smiling, and you do feel pretty, and you do feel beautiful. So I'm all for changing your mindset and doing whatever is necessary to do that, but we also need to be okay with who we are naturally, and be okay to just be as we are, on a call with no makeup, or in t-shirts, or with our hair messy, or whatever, and be okay with what we look like when we wake up in the morning and somebody says, hey, you're really beautiful, and be able to accept that, and accept that compliment with grace, and be comfortable with ourselves. And a lot of the time, especially people who are in the spiritual field, don't start out comfortable in their own skin, and they don't feel like they belong, and they feel ostracized, and they have all these self-esteem issues, and that they all have to work through. And we all have a different way of getting there, but we all have to try and rely on those less and less, and be more and more comfortable with who we are, and shining from within, and just being able to connect on an authentic level.
I mean, I know for me, doing the coffee and inspiration with Crystal Starshine and friends, and now doing Moms Uncensored, spiritual mothers on, no. I can't remember the second part of the tagline. I always mess it up.
Something about
spiritual women on real life.
Yeah, spiritual women on real life.
Moms Uncensored, spiritual women on real life has really gotten me to jumpstart the whole entire, all right, let's be uncomfortable and put my face out there. That's really big, too. Let's go ahead and put my face out there. And then over the summer, I decided to start posting actual videos on my YouTube channel. That's been a big, all right, well, I'm learning different things of, you need to lift up your camera, Lindsay. People don't need to look up your nose, and different things like that, But I have to be okay with, okay, what do I look like? And am I really okay with me being in my skin, and getting on a deeper level of, what people actually really think of me?
And honestly, people need to be paying attention to your message.
Exactly. And that's where it goes back and forth of okay, I need to release and let go of so many different fears and so many different things running through my head of recently I was just I'm gonna do a video. Just do it. Loni Dawson, I don't know if any of you guys know of her. She has the Amazing Biz Life and Academy. It's AmazingBizLifeandAcademy.com. and she got a YouTube channel and a Facebook page and all of that. Her big thing is just do it. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be pretty, it just needs to be done. And I've learned a lot from her of like, go ahead and just do it. It's like a Nike commercial on crack. Just do it. Just do it. And so it runs in my head of like, it really doesn't matter what other people are going to think of me. There are going to be people that are going to not like me or criticize me or say, oh, she's too fat or too pale or too blonde or, you know, I actually had somebody who commented on, why do you always have sunglasses on your head? And I was like, why? And I commented back, why not? They never responded. I wasn't trying to be mean. If you're listening to this, I was not trying to be mean. I'm sorry. But yeah, it was just like, why not? Why not have sunglasses? You know, I wear them all the time, and I can never lose them this way. That's really what it is. I always lose my sunglasses, so I just stick them on my head. And now my daughter just finds it hilarious, and she takes them off my head and then tries to put them on herself like this. It's the funniest thing. She puts them on like this. You know. So for me now, it's like I really don't want to take them off my head because now I have something immediately. She's crying, I can just give to her and she'll stop crying. You know? Like just it's so little things like
to keep your life fluid.
Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. And it really boils down to, does it really matter what other people think or say? No. But I still have those doubts and thoughts.
And we always will, because we are human, and we'll always have that moment of doubt. The goal is to not dwell there, to not stay there in that doubting space, and to, like Lindsay said, just do it. Just you have to take that leap and just do it. You know, keep going and put yourself out there and your message out there, because we all have a message. We all have a unique experience to share with other people, and a unique way of connecting to other women and other beings and other animals and kids, and we all have a unique something to say, and that, you know, will never be shared with anybody else. Nobody else will have my experience. Nobody else will have my grandfather's war experience. Nobody else, you know, even other men from his unit. Doesn't matter. We all have a unique perspective on the world, and we have to try and make sure that's filled with beauty and love, and that our perspective is what we really want coming to us, because we really do create the world that we want and the one that we think about. Because if we think about all the time what we don't want, we have more of it.
And picking back up what you were talking about, everybody's beautiful and unique in their own way, and everybody, like you were saying, has a purpose, has a life purpose. What the reason you want to know the meaning of life? You gotta figure it out for yourself, type thing. But if you truly feel like you are not beautiful, you are not unique, you are not special, let's go biological. You ready for this little nerd fact? Do you realize how many eggs a woman has to create life? And how many sperm cells go into? And you just needed one and one to make you. Then even on that level, how many different combinations there had to be for you to exist?
And how many things can go wrong? How many things had to go right to create a perfect human being that pops up with intelligence? And I mean, there are hundreds of pregnancies a woman has in her life she never knows about, because the body terminates it within the first 5 weeks. We don't know. We have no idea that we're even pregnant, because something didn't match up right. One chromosome wasn't working the way it should. So it's a miracle that you're even just alive today and listening to this call and, you know, talking to your peers and loving your kids and going to grocery shopping. That is a miracle right there. That is beautiful right there. Your life is beautiful. Your life means something. You are worth it. You are worth being here. You have to be, or you wouldn't be.
I was just thinking, let alone being born, but let's just say youngest viewer could just throw out 12. 12 years is a long time to make a mistake for you to not be alive to 90 years old. Do you realize, like so many different things, so many things could have gone wrong for you to not be here, We're sitting here and seeing the viewership go up and down, like, that's awesome. Like, imagine, like, your life story to be here. You have value. And I think that's really, for me, when I think of beauty, it's part of the measurement of value I have within myself. It's not really the end all be all, but it's something that's added to it. And beauty doesn't have to be specifically with a person, but it could be some moment in your life, or it could be a thing or an object, or the trees, or I'm excited about seeing the Pacific Ocean for the first time. Oceans, and Chihuahuas, or it could be an emotion that you get to share across your face. Good or bad. I think it's the most beautiful thing to see a person finally feel, after not feeling for so long, to feel and cry. I think it's the most beautiful thing. I work with people who are in addiction recovery, and to see somebody who's trying to get into recovery, who have masked their feelings for so long, to cry for the first time. I almost cry every time, because it's just such a beautiful thing. And you wouldn't think of that to be beauty. Most people wouldn't. Or my daughter waking up in the middle of the night and screaming and crying, and all I can think of is, why can't you just go back to sleep? And I walk in and I see her just having a little nightmare. And her just that moment of, like, scaredness and, like, freaking out. And she's got tears running down her face, and she looks up at me and she sees her mommy and she just smiles. And in that split second, she sees her mommy and smiles. She's got that little, oh my God, what? And she smiled, Then I pick her up and rock her for a minute, and this was actually a recent night of rocking her, and she fell asleep right on my chest. Had her head down, and I was like, okay, I'm safe. That was a beautiful moment. That was beauty for me. So beauty doesn't have to be specifically of how I view myself or others. It can be almost anything. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we finish up?
Well, I think also, you have to remember beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and you need to not, I don't know the word for it exactly, but invalidate their truth. If somebody calls you beautiful and you don't agree with them necessarily, you still need to say thank you and accept that as their truth. They see something in you, whether it's the light that you shine, or your hair reminds them of their, mother's hair, or your smile reminds them of their daughter. Whatever it is, they saw a connection in you, and they're recognizing that soul. They're recognizing that connection. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something that you personally agree with. It can be something actually that you're struggling with and need to be reminded about, that you really are beautiful all the way around. And we all look different, every single piece of us. Even identical twins, I mean, they portray themselves very differently, because they're individuals. Just because on the outside they look the same, they're individuals. And, everybody has an individual experience that's beautiful and needs to be recognized. And it's in that failure to recognize everybody's beauty that we lose people that should still be here, that didn't, that took the choice to not be here. And that is a loss of beauty that should never happen. We have to be accepting of other people. You don't know what somebody's going through. If they're being ugly to you, it's because they have pain inside that you need to not take personally, and to just recognize that they need extra love. If they're spewing hate, they need love back. If they're spewing meanness, they need kindness back. And you need to be that beautiful soul to them and recognize their beauty and reflect it back to them so that they can remember that they're beautiful. Because you could be the difference in their life. You really could. I mean, there are people that I met for a day that I will remember my whole life. And you never know. You could be the defining moment. You could be the best part of their day. You could remind them of somebody that they lost, that they needed that reminder that their loved one's still with them and still loves them. They saw that glimpse through you. So just try. Just try to be that beautiful moment for somebody else. And maybe even just try this for a week. You know, wake up and have the intention that you're going to make today beautiful. And just let that unfold. You know, you make an intention and you set it out into the world with that, you know, real, okay, this is really what I'm going to do today. And then you can forget about it and just let it unfold. And if you notice that your day is going south, come back to it and say, okay, well, my intention for the day is to make it beautiful. So let me, you know, just refocus on that. And you can even make a new intention in the middle of the day. You know, you can choose instead to be thankful that you're here, or to make somebody laugh, the next person who walks through the door, you know, and or just be authentically connecting with somebody. You know, people are allowed to feel sad and feel angry, and just let them hold that and then release it. Sometimes you just have to acknowledge what somebody else is feeling because they just feel like nobody understands and that they're lost. So just recognize that everybody's different and everybody needs you to hold space for them to be unique, to be beautiful. And we have to do that for each other, because if we don't, what's the point?
I've got nothing.
Well, thank you for watching. Do we know what we're doing next?
No, but what you can do is go ahead and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/essenceofthebluerose. And we will figure out in the upcoming couple of days, we're going to chat a little bit, see what's going on, and come up with a topic for next week. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the show, and subscribe down below. That way you never miss another episode. Once again, we are Essence of the Blue Rose. I'm Lindsay Essence. This is JereLyn Turtlerose. And we will be with you guys again next week, Monday at 9 p.m. live Eastern Standard Time, or Daylight Savings, whatever
it is.
We're on the East Coast. We are in the East Coast of the United States.
And if you want to talk to us, our Facebook page is open to commentary, open to questions. You can message us. You can even email us at essenceofthebluerose@gmail.com and ask us for whatever you like. Within reason. Obviously, your firstborn child, it's not going to happen. But, you know, services, readings, chilling out, you know, you can ask us anything, and it might turn into a topic. We might have a whole hour just on a question that you have. This happened before. This is what this was about. So, you never know.
Okay. Namaste, everyone. See you next week.